less than excellence. Secondly, the BOE's role is to be more physically responsible, cut the waste, find more ways to put money back into the system, as well as be able to represent all people, whether they agree with their ideas or they do not, but be able to listen and agree with all ideas. Thank you.
This is one of the few questions we are going to open up to the entire board if they would like to answer, but with a 30-second maximum. So do I have anybody who would also like to answer what the primary role of the BOE is? Mr. Pandya?
Thank you. I think the role of a BOE member is very important for the community because the BOE member is chosen by voters and taxpayers of Edison Township, and they have to be the voice and face of our community for our students, our teachers, our parents, and they need to be able to understand, be able to be a proper and strong liaison with our administration to make the most strategic and sustainable decisions for our students' future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to answer this?
I just had to add something because I think it's important to know what the role is. So the role of a BOE member is not to run the schools, but to ensure that they are well run. The Board of Ed sets the policy and goals, and the implementer is the superintendent. And the superintendent is the only employee that the Board of Ed supervises and through an annual evaluation. And the Board of Ed also sets the budget and sets the parameters for the budget.
Thank you. Anybody else? Perfect. Moving on to our next question, and this one is going specifically to Mr. Pandya, Mr. Romano, and Ms. Bangor. In watching the BOE meetings, it has become obvious that certain BOE members do not see eye to eye on certain issues. If elected, how will you foster a cohesive working relationship with current BOE members? So we'll start with Mr. Pandya.
Thank you for the question. So I think the ultimate goal is what we need to focus on, and for myself, to ensure this relationship is fostered amongst my fellow board members, we have to keep reminding, at least I will do my part in making sure that we are reminding the board members and the community at large that our goal is for the students, the educators, and the parents, right? And there will not be, there may be disagreements, there may be split of opinions, but I think the goal and the objective will not change, right? Which is for the care and the prosperity of our kids and our educators and our school system so that Edison has a secure future. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Romano?
Thank you. I heard it said just a minute ago where the board, we make sure that it runs well. That means that 9 of us have to sit here and figure it out, come up with a conclusion. That's our job. How would I do it? You sit and talk, and you work it out. Union members know how your negotiators work it out. We work it out. That's what our job is. Our job is to listen to the Ready for This, the administration, and the parents, you, the parents, the ones that are paying the bills. We work it out, we negotiate, we put it together. That's what our job is. Thank you.
And Ms. Bangor?
Hello. Yeah, I agree with Yash Pandan that BOE member has big role that he has to say everything. We are the voice of people that we are answerable for them and do whatever best for the educators, students, and parents. Thank you.
Thank you. Follow-up from any of the current board members on the same question. If you're elected again, how will you foster a cohesive working relationship with the current members? Shirley, would you like to?
Yeah, sure. So I think the Board of Ed should create a policy where Board of Ed members get attention. Just kidding. Well, I feel that students learn by example. Board members are role models. Board members always have to remember that children are watching them and they will do and emulate what we do. That's what I try to remember and remind myself. even when I meet, with issues during a Board of Education meeting where I'm interrupted constantly, I just try to, take the high road. Thank you.
Ms. Banks, would you like to answer?
I think the most important thing is we have to respect each other, and we have to be honest. We can't, before we make any decision, we have to talk and communicate. And that's what's lacking in this board, I think, and transparency. You can't just decide something within a small group and then just, without letting the rest of the board know about it. And you can have little small group to discussion and not telling the rest of the group. So I think number one issue is we have to be transparent and we have to respect each other.
Thank you. Advocate?
Thank you. Just to add, Shivi had some really good points. I just want to add that a board member's job is not, or responsibility is not just during the board meeting. There's things that have to be done prior to the board meeting. There's discussions that need to take place. That's the role of a board member. So to improve that kind of conduct within the board member, I think it's important to have better relationships outside of what's in the public, on TV, and talk and discuss issues that don't have to take place in public, in front of children that are at board meetings, or in front of parents that want to do other things at night, rather than see board members complain or argue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First off, this is the first of several lightning rounds. One thing I want to reiterate is that your answers should be 1 or 2 words, or very short phrases and very brief. Everyone will have an opportunity to answer each lightning round question, and we'll kind of rotate. We'll start from Mr. Vishal Patel in the end and come this way, but then the next one will keep moving down a little bit. So the first question is, what do you see as the #1 strength of the Edison Public Schools? Mr. Patel.
I think it's students, teachers, and parents.
Go down the line.
I think the collaboration amongst all of our stakeholders, seeing our community members and also our students.
I think the size of the actual school system, given its resources and its size, is definitely a strength.
Our parents and our teachers.
Our students making performance very high and getting degrees that they need.
It's the entire structure and partnership, students, administrators, staff, and the whole community together.
Teachers are the best asset of the school district, and parents and students are the best in our Edison School District too.
Of course, teachers, parents, and students, that makes the pillar of the school district. But I think Edison's, the biggest strength is diversity.
Of course, resources and adaptation, everybody has to work together.
Thank you for keeping it short. You might guess my next question, which is, what is its #1 weakness? And we'll start this time with Mr. Pandya and kind of come around. What is the #1 weakness of the Edison Public Schools?
Exactly opposite of my last answer. #1 weakness is also its size. It's a lot of moving parts, and we need a lot of unification and a lot of collaboration with all of our key components, which are the students, teachers, and parents in the community.
We need a new superintendent.
It's the size of our township, it's big, and we need to take care of that first.
I think we need to work better and we need to rise up because we are better rather than pushing other people down. So it's very important that we all collaborate.
Leadership and the communication between administrator and the teachers.
It's sheer size, but bigger is always better as well.
Overcrowding is weaknesses, and I think we need superintendent very good.
I would say lack of accountability on the school administration.
Overcrowding and respect for teachers.
I have one more in this lightning round. Dawn is gonna help. It's gonna be a ranking question, so she's gonna show you your options. I'll say them, but they'll be in front of you. And we'll start with Mr. Minesh Patel. So in your estimation, the role of the Board of Education, please rank the following in accordance to their importance in BOE decisions: the taxpayer, parents, staff, and curriculum.
I say staff, curriculum, taxpayer, and then parents.
Pass that is to keep going in the same line.
So I would put curriculum on the top, staff, parents, taxpayer.
I would put staff, parents, taxpayer, and curriculum last, because we have the first two, the last one will come. Thank you.
Curriculum, staff, parents, and taxpayers.
Staff, parents, curriculum, taxpayer.
I would say staff, parents, curriculum, and taxpayer.
I would say staff, curriculum, parents, and taxpayer.
I would say staff, parents, curriculum, and taxpayer.
Staff, parents, curriculum, and taxpayer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Obvious, I'm the English teacher because I got the questions with all the words. So I will apologize in advance. My questions have big lead-ins. We're going to turn our attention to finances in this round of questions. And the first one I'm going to, well, give you the background on it. For years, Edison was underfunded with state aid, but in recent years, state aid has increased by as much as $10 million over what we received just 3 or 4 years ago. This year alone, it increased 33%, with an additional $12 million, nearly $12 million in state aid coming into the district. So the governor, of course, has 2 more years to go on his full funding formula, so we have every reason to expect that funding will continue to increase over the next 2 years. Provided that this pattern continues, how will you use this money to meet the needs of the school district? And I'm going to ask Ms. Bangor to answer that question first.
I would like to pass this question.
Okay, that sounds fair. Mr. Minesh Patel.
You need to take care of overcrowding issue. Some of that is already done, but we still need to get more. And one of my issues is, why are we getting less money than the other township around us? We still should fight for more money, because 2 townships across from each other, Woodbridge and South Brunswick, got more money than we did, and we fund more to the state than they do. So we should ask for more money from that, and we are entitled to. And that could be used for our overcrowding and then the transportation.
And Ms. Mann.
If we get more money, I think we should use to improve our infrastructure, which has been suffering for a long time. And also help our teachers and kids to have a better learning life or a learning experience in the school.
Thank you. And actually, I will open it up to a couple of folks. So if anybody, Dr. Hayden, would you like to comment on this?
I think must have went off. I think money needs to be spent on our teachers' quality of life. We want to retain great teachers. We want to keep them here. We want to spend money on their classrooms, give them the materials they need at their fingertips. That also will help build our classrooms to strong components and future learners and future leaders. Besides that, I think safety is important in schools, and put money keeping our students safe. When they feel safe, they will learn, and we want to make sure that that is a priority.
So a few points I'd like to make as well. I think we need more educators and we have to invest in our educators to ensure that we get a proper education for our students. Overcrowding has always been a big issue. We're making strides to resolving that, and I think we need to keep pushing with those funds that we're getting. Transportation is also a big issue. We have to look for hiring more personnel to support with that, along with infrastructure like buses, to make sure that transportation issues can be resolved. And all in all of these improvements, we have to ensure the safety and prosperity of our students so that they're not affected in any way.
Anyone else? Please.
So one thing I would do is not hoard the money. The Board of Ed had been hoarding the money for a very long time. What happened in 2010 was when there was a deficit at the state level, the school districts that had money hoarded, the funding was cut by that much. So I would use the money efficiently, to improve the infrastructure as well as to stabilize the taxes, and in whatever way we can provide the support for a good education system and improving whatever that we have.
All right, go ahead.
We have the money, we actually have a lot of it saved already, and we want to use it in the classroom. It really hurts me when we have the physics lab cut, when we have the biology lab cuts. I think that's on the board. We have to bring it back to the classroom. And I also want to see our sports field being improved. If you go to JP's sports field, Woodrow Wilson sports field, all the other fields, then you can see that a lot of them doesn't even have enough grass to cover it. And this is really not working for our students. I think our students deserve more, our parents deserve more.
Thank you. We're going to go on to, I'm sorry, was there someone else? Mr. Imam, did you have?
No, that's quite all right. Most of it's been answered.
All right, well, I apologize. Moving on to another topic that's been mentioned already tonight, several times, and that is overcrowding. We know that overcrowding has been a problem within the district, and to alleviate the overcrowding, the district has proposed an ambitious plan that will ultimately impact every school. Currently, we've allocated $19 million from our operating budget for capital improvements. And smaller projects have begun in some of the schools, such as, of course, Lincoln, JPS, and Edison High School. Tackling a few schools at a time will take years to accomplish all of the building needs. So the question, and I'm going to direct this first to Mr. Romano, is this a great strategy moving forward, or should a referendum be put to the people?
In 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011, the board decided to run a referendum. Those referendums were shot down instantly. It was $265 million back in 2011. All of the schools would have been transformed, made bigger. The problem is that the taxpayers can't afford it. The other problem is the state aid was held up. $13 million a year. And our taxpayers watched as the town council took $6.5 million of your tax dollars away. That's why, and that's why only, I want to see an aggressive overcrowding problem.
And we're gonna keep it with those who are not current board members at this time. So I'm going to ask Mr. Vishal Patel if you would want to comment on that.
So I would say we have to work within the means we have. That doesn't mean we cannot explore other creative options, right? I'm against referendum. I don't think our taxpayer will ever vote for the tax increase. That's just my personal belief as a taxpayer in Nepal. But we could probably have a campaign to have philanthropic investors that may be able to invest into the Edison schools. Edison probably has a lot of millionaires and billionaires in town already. Maybe we can reach out to them and see if one of us can donate the money for expansion. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Pandya, I'll invite you to comment as well.
Thank you. So I agree as well. No to the referendum. 2 years ago when I was here, the board budget was about 260-ish million. I may be off a couple. Now it's about 300 millions, which is really scary to see. We've increased a lot, and we have a lot of resources here. And I definitely think that if we keep working and focusing on tax stabilization and budget stabilization, we can reach our goal. and we have up to 2%, not exceeding it, up to 2%, which is $6 million. I mean, it's not a small amount. $6 million is a lot of money, and I think we can move mountains with that kind of money. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to invite the current Board of Ed members, if you wanted to share any comments on this plan at this point, or the decision perhaps to spend out of the budget as opposed to a referendum. So if any of the current board members, Dr. Hayek or Ms. Madiker or Ms. Payne, come on.
I support the plan the Board of Ed rolled out, because, you know, when you have something really big, you just keep aspiring for it, it's never gonna happen. And, you know, take small steps, but keep moving along. We just have to keep moving forward and not wait for that one great day. So I would not go for a referendum.
Ms. Payne, do you want to?
Just want to point the facts that the referendum would have added $8.3 million a year, and which didn't pass. The next year, we added $9.9 million to the budget, which is going to be permanently added to our taxpayers' bill. So, of course, we have to expand our school. Look at how overcrowded our classroom is. So I don't see any other solution, but we have to expand it. But if we had passed the referendum, we could actually save the taxpayers some money.
And Dr. Hayek? No? Thank you, sir. All right, finally, my board has implemented a 0% budget, as opposed to using the full 2%, as Mr. Pondy just said, which we could have gone up, as allowed by law. This year, however, we're facing a highly inflationary environment, which has impacted the cost of everything, from paper to fuel oil for the buses and heating, etc. So given a financial climate where we are looking at, given the current numbers, probably a 7% increase in most costs, which is what most of us are feeling in our own homes, how can we continue to meet the needs of the district and balance the needs of the taxpayer going forward? So I will invite anyone on the panel who wishes to start, and again, this is open to anyone or everyone, given the environment we're in right now.
Jared, 1 minute or 30 seconds?
This will be 1 minute.
Sure. We have state aid. It's finally come back. We watch our P's and Q's. We take and we analyze the budget. We hire a superintendent that is qualified to come up with these solutions. We're qualified as board members or previous board members or upcoming board members to take and say one thing, yes or no. That's the name of the game. We are getting more state aid than we've ever had before. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Pondy, and then we'll go to Ms. Madiker.
So I definitely agree that because we're in such an inflationary period, we should hold off on the larger expenses. For example, Woodbridge Township just recently said no to building a school due to the current economic climate. So I do agree with that, but there's plenty of low-hanging fruit here in our Board of Education that we can target in the meantime so that we're continuing to make strides with what is going on. Transportation being one of them. We can look for more personnel, more buses to better suit our transportation needs so that students have to not wait at bus stops for 30, 45 minutes. There's another need, educators. We can look for educators. We can partner better with the ETEA and see how we can better strengthen our curriculum and strengthen the availability of educators for our students as well. So there's plenty of low-hanging fruit that we can target.
Thank you, Ms. Madiker.
So I would just say that obviously it's going to be a really challenging year, and we have to remember that just as we are struggling to meet expenses, even the taxpayers or the residents would also be struggling with the same costs. What we really need to do is, advocate to the state and start advocating now. Do they have a plan? Like, it's a 7% inflation rate. Do they have a plan to increase funding beyond what we get? So that is something we really need to get on, because otherwise it is going to be really challenging.
Ms. Madiker? Oh, Ms. Payne, sorry, and then.
Oh.
No, that's okay. Ms. Payne.
We do feel, I think the inflation is like 25% of
Yeah, it's
7.
probably greater than what I said. I was probably being generous.
Yeah, we do feel the pain of the taxpayers, but our team, the Edison Students First team, Michelle Patel, Joe Romano, and me, we still promise a 0% tax increase, school tax increase this year. We think we can do it. We have to be careful. We have to look at every expense. We have to cut the fraud and continue to cut the fraud and abuse. Like $1 million could be spent on video cameras that's never been used in the classroom. And we cannot have that kind of activities happen in our school. We have to make sure every penny is used the right way. And we have to make sure taxpayers know how the money is spent too. So that's why we can really promise a 0% tax increase to our taxpayers.
Thank you. Ms. Ben?
It is a challenge for taxpayers and for everyone that the times that we're facing right now with so much of inflation. But there is a lot that we can still find through state funding, through county, through federal. I'm sure I'm not 100% well knowledgeable about this topic, but I still think that we can find. There are many towns that have worked collaboratively with state, with town, with county and the federal government to find funding that can help them and not derail the process of our infrastructure improvements.
Thank you. Tell you what, why don't we go to Mr. Manish?
Number one, we need to start looking at our bids. In previous years, we are just giving contracts out without bids. Let's start bidding. We will save a lot of money. When it comes to bid, we go out shopping and we go to 3 stores before we buy something. Why not here? Let's get bids and we save money. Let's not say 0% tax because we were supposed to get $23 back. Instead, this board decided to hold the money. So it was minus, but they hold the money. Stop holding the money because holding money gets you 0.1% interest. But instead of spending it, next year you don't have to come up with more money. And we could do the infrastructure that we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Ms. Bangor if she wants to comment, and then we'll go. So same question. So how will we meet the needs of the district and balance the needs of the taxpayer given the inflationary environment that can be hold to that 0%?
I agree with Manish Patel that we had to go for the bidding and stop holding money, and we had to try to cut down the cost of whatever we can, wherever we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe, yes.
So apart from trying to find more source of revenue, we need to be frugal, right? That means try to look at where we are spending money. There are a lot of places where we are overspending. There are some of the services that we can bring in-house. I know we brought some plumbing and bus services in-house. We can bring more services in-house, which will cost us cheaper in the long run. Same thing I agree with Manish Patel in terms of bidding, right? There are a lot of construction contractors that overbids. We need to just dive deeper into it and see if we can negotiate better rates and save money, and that will return into allowing us to do more with less. Thank you.
Dr. Hayden?
Just one small point to add. Obviously the money is not going to be endless in any year. This year is going to be very difficult, but the decision has to be how do we spend our money the furthest away from the classroom. That has to be cut first, and then put that money towards where the kids and our teachers are. Because if we cut the stuff that's extra, we can maintain that zero balance and not impact our taxpayers, which we have seniors that I've spoken to that struggle just with basic bills. They don't need higher taxes for sure.
Thank you. I believe that's everyone, and I apologize for my long-winded questions, but it is time for lightning.
Now everybody gets quick, short answers again in case you forgot. The first question, we're going to start with Ms. Pang this time, is when budget cuts are necessary, what is your number one priority to keep?
To keep our staff and keep the classroom running.
And then kind of pass along, this way and then go over. Okay.
Retain staff and not cut any more curricular activities.
Once you turn on the mic.
Make sure it's on.
Oh, yeah. retain the staff and teachers, and do not cut any more extracurricular activities for the kids.
Ms. Bowden?
Not cut the classes curriculum. Instead, we can cut like whatever we are using material and or something that where we can get the good reading and cut the cost there.
And Mr. Vishal Patel, we'll kind of go down the line again.
Sure, I would say retain teachers, right? Without teacher, nothing else matters. Thank you.
I think we all can agree that teachers are important in our classroom, so I won't repeat that, but I think keeping those programs for our students intact as best we can, they need that, they need to do something after school and be attentive and engaged.
I also agree, keeping our educators, our support staff, and our paras, along with the curriculum, and also retaining student resources, which includes extracurriculars and various different programs.
I agree with everything's been said. Thank you.
Agree with the staff and curriculum should be there. That's the top priority.
They keep pushing it.
So I will keep all programs for students, and that automatically keeps all the teachers and staff.
Thank you. The next question will start with Ms. Bangor. This is a simple, just yes or no answer, please. Do you believe Edison Public Schools should share services with the municipal township of Edison? Yes or no?
No.
Then we'll go to Mr. Vishal Patel, and we'll kind of keep going.
Yeah, I would say yes, because it helps us cut costs. Thank you.
Yes, whatever it takes for our students and our staff.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, because we benefit from the economies of scale.
Yes, only if it's a lower cost and save quality.
Of course, yes, we need to save money.
I have one more kind of ranking question. Dawn will help with the options again. This time we'll start with Dr. Heide. Overcrowding is an issue. Please rank the following by immediate priority: acquiring land, new construction on existing grounds, and bringing in modulars or trailers.
Very good topic.
Oh, we could have
See it
fun
in
with
different
this
ways.
one.
I'm gonna go with, because I know what teachers think. I would say new construction on existing grounds, because the modulars are tough to teach in at times. And the air conditioning could be a benefit to them though. So I'll go with new construction, then bring in the modulars, and then acquire new land.
And then we'll kind of go down the line. We'll just keep going, this is Mr. Pandya. Okay.
Well, I'm going to take
Okay,
this since
go
I
for
gave
it.
you the mic. I agree with Mr. Kevin. New construction on land, bringing in a model, and then the last one is acquiring land. Thank you.
I think it's new modulars. I think it may be a little uncomfortable for everyone, but I do think the education is being conveyed. Then I think it would be new construction, because everything is really expensive right now, and new land being the last.
Thank you. Modulars, when you put modulars in, every 2 years, you have the state has to come in and has to certify. So new modulars is out. When you buy new land, where do you find it in Edison? The only place you could find new land is the developers who are buying the land up for condos or townhouses. And I really can't see the other one there.
New construction on existing buildings.
And new construction, yeah, keep adding on to our schools. We do have property behind TJ. That property, we also decided years ago that we could put a school back there. Lindenau has property to use. Franklin has property to use. I think with the existing plans and put everything together, I think that's where it goes.
I would say existing ground first, because at least we could start working on it. Meanwhile, get modulars. Acquiring land is impossible at this time, prices are skyrocketed, we don't have that kind of money. So existing grounds and modulars.
So I would say new construction on existing grounds, and because we need to build, and we need to build now, so I would bring in modulars next. Acquiring new land would take such a lot of time, so, and because we need to be quick, that would be my third priority and last priority.
New land, I think it's just not realistic. Modular, not trailers, they're two different things. I've been to Wuzhou, also modulars, they're beautiful, would be my choice. And the top choice would be new construction on existing, because that's just easy, quick fix, and we need that as soon as possible. Thank you.
So of course, first new construction on the existing ground, we cannot let our schools' infrastructure rot and keep on moving to the new one. So definitely new construction on the existing ground, we need it faster and sooner. Modulars, if they are good, because I've seen modulars during one of the band recital, it is not a very great experience, but if it is, then it is, because at least we get the class. Acquiring new land, I don't see that happening in Edison. The last one is that.
New construction on existing ground, yes, we really need that, and bring in modulars, I'm also not in favor because it's not good. Another, acquire new land, and which is, I don't think is possible in Edison.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to a curriculum question here, and it will be open to all of you. Edison has implemented a full-day kindergarten without adding a significant amount of staff. Instead, we have larger classes in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. If elected, how will you propose to monitor the effects of these larger class sizes on the students as they move through the school system? Let's start with Ms. Pang.
I agree. It wouldn't be fair to squeeze the kids into the upper grades. We have to find a solution. I don't see why we have a new kindergarten, fully kindergarten without adding new staff. And we have the money here. We could have hire local talents, getting new teachers coming here. That would be best for our kids, for our students. And that would be fair to the teachers too.
We'll come this direction.
I completely agree that it is not fair for the teachers to have larger classroom in 3 to 5 grade, 3 to 4 and 5 grades, but I think that we are facing staffing issues throughout the state. It's not just Edison, but we should add more teachers or retain more staff so that they don't feel the burnout.
I agree with Mansi that there are more students now than like teacher, so we don't want to burn out the teacher, and student also should get proper attention from teacher and everything, so it's better that we should have teacher and student ratio properly.
Mr. Patel?
I think I agree with what everybody has said, so pass. Thank you.
3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, they're tough years to teach with large classes, especially with our NJSLA, and in 4th grade. Kindergarten is the most researched area where it's so instrumental to future success. So we have to balance both of those ideas. Look at the classroom spaces we have, classroom capacities in each of our schools, and hopefully hire more staff. Although somebody just said it, there's a shortage of this, so one balances the other. So we want to make sure we continue our kindergarten, even move it back to pre-K, and balance our class sizes up top for those teachers that need it.
So I also agree that we definitely need additional educators to support and sustain the program. In addition to that, I believe that any new program that the board agrees on and the administration agrees on, there needs to be some kind of like excellence model where that new program is actually being governed to see its efficacy, whether it's actually working, whether it's not working, and take those lessons learned and actually apply it to the other grade levels that are going on. That's how you can monitor it. Thank you.
Kindergarten is here to stay. Full day kindergarten is here to stay. We have to come up with a plan, and the one big part of the plan, it's simple. We need more classroom sizes. Classroom sizes are 26, 27, 28. You can't teach that way. It just doesn't work. So, yeah, we need to build on new schools. That's part of finance. That's part of everything. The other thing, simple. We have to be realistic. We have to hire within. We have people that come out of our high schools, that graduate college, that are looking for good teaching jobs. I don't know about you, but Edison Township has good teachers. I don't know if you looked at it lately. Thank you very much.
As everyone said, yes, we need to hire more teachers. Before that, we need to find out why our teachers are leaving. For the last few reports I have seen, there's more and more teachers leaving us. What is the reason for it? Overcrowding. That's the biggest issue we have. When it's overcrowded, teacher cannot handle, they will move to another district. We need to make sure that we have ratio of teacher-student stays in place where it should be. Not keep doing it, because last year somebody decided that there is 13 in one class and 13 in another class. Let's put together and make 25. And that is how the KG came in place. That should be stopped. You need, if you don't have space, make the space to make sure that you have full-time KG. Thank you.
So you monitor it by, you just turn it off?
No,
You monitor it by looking at teacher retention. I don't know if there's a way to measure or figure out teacher stress. We also need to measure student performance, address classroom capacity, because student-teacher ratio matters. And one thing I want to quickly add about full-day kindergarten, I thoroughly support it because the children who need it the most, the full-day kindergarten, have been the ones who did not get this, get this program because of lack of resources. And they were the ones entering the schools with the largest learning gap, because the ones who can afford it just go to a full-day program outside. So we really, longer term, this will actually impact the overall student performance, school performance, student success, and in the student success lies our success.
All right, thank you. I'm going to shift gears just a little bit, but it's still kind of going along the lines of expansion. Over the years, we have, our district of course has grown exponentially in terms of number of students. And we have offered many different programs, the latest of which of course is the return of full-day kindergarten. And one of the things that I think has been obvious is that our expansion, even though we have expanded the size of our district, one thing that we have not done is we've not seen an expansion in personnel in many of our non-certificated positions. Even though there is, on a daily basis, more and more that needs to be completed within the classroom and the offices. So I'm talking about positions such as our paraprofessionals and our teacher aides or secretaries or library aides, custodians, etc. So it's not just the classroom teachers, but all of the support structures. So I'll open it up to anyone to start the conversation, but what should we be doing, or what could we be doing to attract and retain our non-certificated staff in the district? And Mr. Romano, you grab the mic first. You're up.
Yes. Hire from within. Hire the people from Edison. Hire the people that graduated from J.P. Stevens and Edison High School. There's people that would love to come and work for Edison. They graduated here. They learned here. They went to school and kindergarten here. Don't you think that they would want to come back and work in the district to where they were educated? All I'm saying is we could do more from within. We don't have to look out, we have to look from within. Thank you.
All right. Again, I'll open it up to anyone, we don't have to go down the line, but it is open to anyone who wants to comment on it.
I agree with him. In Edison Township, we have so many teachers. A couple of my friends are sitting here. We were in one of the schools about a few meetings back, and one teacher was sitting behind me. I said, "Why don't you work here?" He says, "Why do I want to work here? I'd rather work somewhere else, less stress." So we are giving stress to our teachers, and we need to help them get rid of that stress. Hire people who are in our town. The other thing is, a few years back, one of the members got penalized for saying, "Can you hire that person?" Come on, if somebody in the township is there, don't say because a board member recommended that you cannot hire that person. Or if it's board member's mother, daughter, sister, brother, hire the people who are in town. They know students, they know people, and they would work better. You wouldn't want to see somebody go 1 hour ahead or wait to do the job.
Okay, before we continue, I just want to make sure this that I'm clear. I'm actually speaking specifically to the non-certificated staff, so our paraprofessionals, our secretaries. I'm coming back to the teachers in a minute, so I promise we're going to get to that as well. But I do want to just kind of focus on our non-certificated staff, which seems to have not increased nearly as much in correlation with the increase in the size of the district. So again, anyone else with a comment on?
I can't go again.
Can you go again?
Next question, I promise.
Okay.
You can do that.
All right, seeing that, we're actually going to talk about a problem that may be a little bit larger than just our district, but it's one that we're, did you, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
did you have a
sorry.
comment?
Yeah, maybe I can just add one
Sure.
thought. So, so
Have we tried figuring out, classes where teachers feel that they need the support? Maybe there needs to be a survey that needs to go out, and we need to first find out what the need is. Is there a need? And maybe we are not aware of that need. And if there is a need, then we need to figure out a plan. I feel that the paraprofessionals are paid really low salaries. I think it's less than, it's about like what, $28,000 annually? That's about it. So if it's $28,000 in a high-cost state like New Jersey, working full-time and year-round, you're making $28,000. Who would want to work for them in that job? It's not, I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed.
Thank you, I think Ms. Banger, you
Yeah, I have wanted to say this a long time. I have friends who has special ed kids, and I myself spend like an hour with them sometimes. And that feels like I've been worked a whole day, 8 hours, and I see how tough it is. I think we need to appreciate the parents more. And of course, if we get a very attractive salary, I believe we can attract more people coming to our school district, because we do need them in the classroom helping out, and we have to figure out a way to attract people here. Thank you.
Anyone else before I move on to an even bigger topic? All right, bigger topic still. Currently, and you can't get away from this, we know there is a statewide shortage of teachers. The state is suffering, the governor's talked about this on several occasions. We as a district have not been spared this. Each month, for those of you that look at the minutes, you see there are more and more of our .2s. Those are our extra teaching periods that have to be covered because we don't have a teacher to cover that class. And the reason is for a number of reasons. Yes, class size is one of them. Certainly retirements, which I know has been mentioned already, or people choosing to leave the district. We do have a current labor agreement in place right now, which does have certain parameters within it. But keeping that in mind, keeping in mind that we do have a current labor agreement, what, if anything, else could we be doing as a district to attract and retain the additional professional staff that we need to overcome, as best we can, what is a statewide problem of a teacher shortage? So we'll start with Mr. Pandya, and again, this is open to anyone.
So I think for this one also, I think hiring from within is a very key part. We're at a very unique situation where a lot of these things are out of our hand, and how do we focus on attracting talent, and that's from within. There's it's kind of like what I'm kind of running on, being a public school student, and I want to give back now. Similarly, teachers who live within the community would love to give back to their town, right? And I think looking for within is the best way to do it, because this covers the aspect which you cannot cover through pay increase, through additional benefits. It's that personable factor that needs to be tapped into and shown that, hey, this is our town and we need to work together to make it happen.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Mr.
One of the things we could do, like what City of New York does and all others, once they retire, can we ask them to come back and work? Some of the teachers want to work, but when they are at the age, they say, okay, I have to go. There should be something that we could do to get them back and work few hours, less hours, and let them enjoy their senior life too, instead of saying you have to work 8 hours or 10 hours. There are a few who would love to work back and still get their health insurance and everything running.
Mr. Patel, before we move on, I just do want to clarify that because there are rules higher than ours. So the state does have rules in place about limiting that for the first year before anybody can come back, but certainly your point is well taken. Thank you. Ms. Bennett.
So I think what is really important is to have a really good workplace environment. Sorry.
I think what is really important is to have a very good and supportive workplace environment. You know, we should make our town, our school district very attractive, because a lot of things, you know, people hear through word of mouth. Somebody will say, hey, this is, you know, I work here in such a great place, I love it, I'm really happy. So people look out for those places to work in. So we have to kind of keep working to figure out how we can create a very supportive environment.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Peng, and then I'll open it to the.
Sure. I think we need to make sure the morale in our school is good. I feel like when teacher all of a sudden got notified their program got cut, their labs got cut, and there's no communication between the supervisor and the teachers, of course they're going to feel bad. When you bring up textbooks, that new textbook, new curriculum, that without much communication to the teachers, and they're all of a sudden find out they have to teach something new, and they don't feel respected, then they're going to leave. It's as simple as that. We have to make sure the working environment is friendly, and we have to make sure we let the teachers know what's going on in our school. And I still trust our public school system. I have 2 kids in our school system. My son actually got admitted to a STEM program, but I kept him here because I trust our teachers are doing the best job here. But they need to feel that they're respected. They need to feel that they're appreciated, and they need to feel that they are contributing to our school.
Thank you. Ms. Mather or Ms. Peng?
Sadly, this comes back again to the same thing, infrastructure of our schools. If we give better facilities to teachers, address the classroom size and capacity issues of various programs that our teachers are doing such a great job, I think we would be able to retain more staff. I am not very well equipped to answer the question about negotiating and salaries, which I will learn eventually, hopefully. But as a parent, as a PTO mom, which I've seen that they need small things like they need a better cafeteria for themselves, they need a better facility to rest between the classes. Happy teachers is equal to happy kids, and not needless to say that happy kids are equal to happy parents. So we need to take care of teachers better.
Ms. Peng, what did you want to say?
I think we need to do expansion as early as possible so we can keep teacher ratio proper, so teacher can be happy and kids also can be happy. Changing curriculum also is the one thing that is affecting whatever is happening at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. A?
Some of the topics I just want to outline. Obviously, we want to hire somebody from Edison. They know our schools, they know our town. But this is a problem well past Edison. This is a state problem. We have to go to the governor, we have to go to people outside our district, and have respect for teachers, educators, the people that are in our classrooms working with kids. That's where it starts. It's not on the Board of Ed, but our job as a Board of Ed member is to legislate with them and speak to them and sit them down and understand that the most noble profession in the world today is our educators. So we have to retain those educators by having good classrooms, having a good morale in our schools, and that's how we should do it at the state level.
Mr. Patel? Any comment? And Mr. Romano, I'm gonna come back to you because I know you have more to say on the last question. So why don't you go ahead and, you can add if you wish.
I think everything that I just heard was great. I really do. The problem is simple. We have to make teaching more pleasant. We have to take and make so that, have you ever seen a child in kindergarten or first grade? I'm quite sure you haven't. Have you seen a child hug the teacher? Whatever happened to that? We don't do that anymore. We don't appreciate our teachers. That's a big issue. Class size and state, you're right. The state with all the rules and regulations, yeah. Please, it's the kids. It's the kids, and that's all there is. It's the kids.
Thank you all, and it is time for Walden.
Hello again. Friendly lightning round reminder. We're trying to go for 1 or 2 word answers, very short phrases for responses. I'm going to ask that you finish the following sentence, and we're going to start this time with Mr. Romano. Every Board of Education member must. Go on.
Okay?
Yeah, that's it.
Every Board of Education member must understand one thing. We hold the superintendent. He is the person. She is the person. That's our job.
You can kind of pass. Go. I guess go down this way. Whatever. As long as everybody goes, it's a turn.
One of the things must is we need to make sure we listen to our educators and get things done.
Every Board of Education member must know what their role is. A lot of times people forget, and they should never mislead the public.
Every board member should let the public know where they stand in all the critical issues.
Every board member should be transparent in giving the information to the public and be inclusive.
Every board member should have good relationship with teachers and students.
And the other side over here.
Every board member must listen and take a stand. Like we are selected to take a stand. There's no middle ground. Thank you.
Every board member must put the students first.
Every Board of Education member should keep the students, parents, and educators in mind.
On the next, finish the sentence sort of question, we're going to start with Ms. Monaco, even though she kind of snuck it in the last one. Every Board of Education member should never.
Should never mislead. Never.
And then we'll go down this panel.
Should never hide their opinions or be vague on their opinions.
Should never be disrespectful to the other board member.
Never mislead or be disrespectful to the other members.
And Mr. Bishop, put that.
I would say never mislead and be disrespectful to anybody. Thank you.
Be unethical.
Never ever should a board member not discuss any topic at hand.
Well, I think we answered all the questions. A board member has to remember one thing. You're not running the district, the superintendent does.
Be transparent.
Should never
Should never be. They never should deceive the people and hide the info.
Here's my last lightning round question. We'll start with Ms. Montour. If given a choice of committees, if you were elected to serve, what would be your number one choice?
I would choose the public communication. I think that is, it's a personal it's a community performance community that community, that is what I would like to be part of.
Nisha.
Ms. Bangor?
Be on a cultural society or something where we can bring like dancing, singing, like those programs and promote which is like stress free. That sometimes we can bring.
Mr. Vishal Patel?
I'll be on an athletic and curriculum committee. Thank you.
To continue with the policy committee.
Three options, either finance committee, budget committee because of my background, curriculum because of my STEM background, or performance committee because of my community involvement.
Transportation, I was a truck driver for 50 years. When a bus winds up on a lawn, I want to know why. Thank you.
I would like to be on finance committee and performance committee.
So curriculum has always been near and dear to my heart because that's where we impact students directly and the opportunities they get. So I would want to continue on the curriculum committee.
Curriculums and my science background would help, and also finance, because that's just so critical right now that we have to make sure it works.
Thank you.
Okay, this one's going to all of you, and you have 30 seconds to answer this one. It's probably the most uncomfortable of all the questions. Do you have a conflict of interest that would preclude you from voting on certain issues? And if you do, how will you handle advocating for an issue even though you can't vote for it? We'll just go straight down the line, Mr. Vishal Patel. I will say it again. Do you have a conflict of interest that would preclude you from voting on certain issues? How will you handle advocating for an issue even though you can't vote on it? 30 seconds for each of you.
So I don't have a conflict of interest. I'm independent. I have no aspiration to run for public office or public job ever in my life. Second question doesn't apply then. Thank you.
I don't have a conflict of interest. I believe that every decision has to be based on all students, not just the highest students, but also our most delicate special education students. So obviously any topic that comes to mind relating to a student, I'd be more than happy to investigate it and make that decision that's good for kids.
I do not have a conflict of interest either, but those that may have it, I think it makes an even more important job for us as board members to make sure that we're making the correct and accurate decision for our community.
Nobody, I have nobody in the district, nobody in the town. What I make, what decisions that I make are for the board, for the teachers. Thank you.
I have no conflict of interest, and you always can work with the other 8 or 7 and make the right decision.
I have no conflict of interest, so I can participate in pretty much everything.
No conflict of interest, haven't participated in everything. And that's, our whole team is independent. And I don't think anybody with any political connections should be a board member.
I don't have any conflict of interest. I will be able to participate in everything that is regarding board. Thank you.
I don't have a conflict of interest and I will be able to participate without any doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Before we get to our closing statements, let me say first that I want to thank all of you for being so respectful of the time, because we did cover a lot of ground and we're reasonably on time. So thank you all for your participation. We will be getting to the closing statements in just a moment, and we will start with Mr. Vishal Patel and come down the line. You'll have 1 minute for your closing statement. Before we do, however, for my friends who are here in the audience, on your way in, you were given a blue folder, and there is a questionnaire on the left side. If you would please be sure to fill out the questionnaire before you depart tonight, and hand it to any one of the ETEA members here. We can collect those from you. So I thank you all for your cooperation on that. So without further ado, you will have 1 minute each for your closing statements. We'll start with Mr. Vishal Patel, and we'll just come right down the line. So the floor is yours.
Well, I want to thank you, ETEA, for inviting me, and thanks for all of you to listening to me and all of us. I love Edison schools. I believe in public systems. I have 2 kids in public systems. I'm an independent person with no political ties and no aspirations for ever running for any public office or public job. I promise every decisions I make will be for the students. Thank you, and I ask for your vote on November 8th to me and to my team, column 2. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful evening. I think, thank you to the candidates that are volunteering their time to run their campaigns. I just want to close by saying, I think out of this whole panel here, I know it best as far as education goes. I understand what teachers do. I respect it wholeheartedly. I am an educator myself. To the community members that are listening, I make those decisions every day as a building principal. I plan to do the same as a board member and continue to make good decisions for all types of learners. I just mentioned it, from our highest levels to our students with special needs. They're all important to us at home as parents, and as a board member, I bring that experience and that character to this board. Thank you.
I want to thank the ETEA and everyone here for a wonderful opportunity to be here tonight to express my candidacy and my thoughts and beliefs. My background as a public school student and now wanting to give back to the community speaks for itself. I'm an active community member here. I work with a lot of my peers who have students, who have siblings in the public school systems, and I really want to be a part of it and be someone who can actually give back to the community, being a previous public school student. My background being in STEM and currently managing an extremely large portfolio, I know I can professionally and give back to the Board of Education as well. So thank you everyone again. Looking forward to everyone's support, and happy to chat with everyone after as well. Thank you.
Back in 2007, when I was elected, I had to go to the New Jersey School Board's initiation, indoctrination. The first thing I learned, a board member does not run the district. I don't think we've heard that again and enough. A board member makes sure that it runs well. A board member makes sure that if a bus lands on someone's lawn, someone's going to hear about it. And when somebody says something, a board member should say, wait a minute, what happened? So a board member's job is to make sure the administration runs it well. Thank you.
As I say thank you to all for listening to us, one of the things I do is I have been the president of an organization that has 26,000 plus members, and those are family members. I work with a company that has 32 gas stations with 300 employees, so I know how to manage things the way it needs to be, how to budget things. And we need to do that. Over the last 10 years, we have wasted time and overcrowding happened. Teachers are always complaining, and when teachers has to come to board members and say, we want to work, don't cut classes, and we still do. We don't listen to them for A and B classes, and we still do. I think this is ridiculous, and we need to solve that. That's what I would like to do. Thank you.
So I would like to thank the ETEA for organizing this debate. I would also like to thank everyone attending this event and those watching remotely. Just so people have some information about my background. I have a master's in public administration with specialization in public policy from NYU. I'm a policy analyst by profession. I have more than 2 decades of experience in that area. I have served many years on the PTO, and I was the president of the John Adams PTO. My 2 children have gone through the Edison school system, one still attending. What I'm most proud of is my ethics, independence, integrity, and my professionalism, no matter what gets thrown my way. I live by this quote of Eleanor Roosevelt: "A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water." I will always remain strong for the children of Edison. Thank you for your time.
It's no secret that politicians do not want me on this board, because I voted their overcharging vendor friends out. But that's how we save millions of dollars to put into our classrooms. They hated me for not hiring their relatives, but that's how we get the real talents or promoting turnover. For friends who want puppets on this board, our team is not your choice. Puppet would flip when there's a better deal on the table, or I should say under the table. For example, money from developers or positions somewhere. Our vote is not for sale. Job contracts has a price tag, dreams doesn't. This is our team's dream. Kids should have enough classroom to take any courses they want. They should have a beautiful sports field to play on, a state-of-the-art auditorium to perform at, a shining bright cafeteria. Teachers should come to the school enthusiastic, with something to looking forward to, and going back home feel rewarded and accomplished. Our kids, our taxpayers, our teachers deserve this. This is our dream. Call it a dream, because if we don't have the dream, we shouldn't be here. And our team is the one team that's going to deliver this dream for you. Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to thank ETA for giving us this opportunity and hosting such a lovely evening, and also letting us introduce ourselves to the wonderful teachers of the town. I'm a dedicated and a passionate PTO mom who is willing to roll up my sleeves and work hard to make our school safe haven for a great learning and teaching experience for our staffs and students. As a parent, I'm very pleased to see that we have made a considerable progress, or we are making considerable progress towards improving our school facility. We brought back, we've seen kindergarten coming back to our district. A historic investment is done towards our music program, and everything was accomplished without asking more money from the taxpayers. Thank God for that. The Stronger, Brighter Futures team will ensure that this progress continues in the right direction. So please vote for column 1, and our district continues to move in the right direction. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, ETA, for giving this opportunity to share my thoughts tonight and meet all. I would like to close with an observation that there has been one complaint that we haven't heard or taken seriously. Teachers and parents are doing everything in their capacity so that our students perform well in standardized tests, but the fact is that we are not giving them enough infrastructure to learn additional life skills and be well equipped when they leave the halls of this building to succeed in the real world. We have got around 1,900 special needs kids in district. Not all students can excel in studies, and we have very limited choice for many students who otherwise can learn skills that they can give more confidence and independence to enter in competitive worlds. We must do a better job in providing facilities to excel them. They will go as high as we let them. So with your permission, your vote, I would like to roll up my sleeves and see just how high we can get these eagles and hawks to soar. Our slogan, student teacher first, is what best describes us. I'm requesting your support, and again, thank you for your time. Thank you.
And that concludes our event tonight. A big round of applause here for all our people. And as I said previously, the association here in Edison is always willing to work with any board members. Our door is always open. On your way out tonight, I'd just like you to give a thought because it's been on my mind all evening. You know, we went through Hurricane Sandy tonight. I don't know what Western Florida looks like, but I think, you know, the pictures are going to be very gruesome. So I would just ask, as teachers, what we do is always care about others. I think we need to care about our most valuable state tonight and give our prayers to all the people down there that went through a really bad day today. So those are my closing thoughts. I thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming. And if you need lunch tomorrow, I don't know what's left out there. We have takeout, tinfoil. Make sure you take something home with you because I don't want to take it back to the office. Please, thank you.